Hey you guys, it's Toya and thank you for watching Toya JTV. This is week 16 of the How to Stretch Your Relaxer series. And to some of you, I would like to give you a big congratulations simply because this is the week that you get your relaxer. So if you made it to week 16, congratulations. You should already be seeing a big difference in your hair. You should see it being thicker, more down. You should notice it breaking less, shedding less, and it's actually becoming stronger. So as you continue in your stretch, you will notice a bigger and bigger change in your hair. You will notice that it looks thick from the root all the way to the tip instead of looking thin on the ends or thin from the middle down or just thin all over. You know, you will notice it thickening up and you will just notice an overall different feel to it. It just feels healthier. There's less shedding and it's just so much better in the healthy side of relaxed hair. So anywho, I'm going to continue on. I have 9 more weeks to go. Okay. It really doesn't seem like that big of a deal anymore. But, like I had said last week, I do feel the effects of stretching as of right now. Like, I know that it's been 16 weeks, and at this point, I could very well go right ahead and get my relaxer, but I'm going to hold out, okay? As I say, I have 9 more weeks. That also, in my mind, tells me there is about 9 more weeks until it's Christmas. Like, wow. That seemed like it doesn't seem like it should be that close, but it is. So guess what? I think I'm gonna go ahead and start my Christmas shopping. Get my kids out of the way before the crowd gets just too wild. And that way, when day after Thanksgiving comes, I will, if I do get out in the crowd, I'll just be, kind of just shopping for me. I won't really be getting anything that I just need to have because I plan on already having that stuff. But let's see if you can see my new growth. I've already blown it dry, so it's already been pretty much straightened, but it's very thick from right here to about right here. Okay, that's about my 2-inch mark. So that's why I said if you've gotten to 16 weeks, it is safe to go ahead and relax at this point. Because that way hopefully your stylist is not coming way down here to relax your hair, but just getting just your new growth only. So this week I'm going to do it straight. Last week was a flop in my eyes. Speaking of eyes, my eyes itching. But, I tried to do it curly. I said I was going to do it curly. Then once I got the curls, I was like, this is too many curls. I did not commit to this. So I wrapped it. And then after I unwrapped it, it was better, but still not at the level of uncurliness that I wanted it to be. So what I did was the little bun at the top, and I let the rest hang down. And can you believe that hairstyle that I did not like? I got so many compliments on that little hairstyle. Even my husband was like, I like the hairstyle that you have. So anyway, that just goes to show you, okay, that a lot of times when we kind of just like don't like our hair, the first idea that may come into your mind is to just flat iron it, put more heat on it. Don't do that, okay? This just goes to show you that it could work out in your favor. You might not like it, but in other people's eyes, you look fantastic. Like the very next day after I did that hairstyle, I went to like Sonic to go get me something to drink like early that morning, and before the girl could even take my money, and this was a Caucasian girl. She was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair like that." And I just kept getting that the rest of the week. I mean, from little young girls to older girls to, like I said, even my husband. But anyway, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I mean, if I do, it'll probably be with like my weave or something. But anywho, this week I'm going to do straight. I'm going to do straight, but you know, not bone straight. Just have a little bump to it. For the rest of the way, I'm going to be flat ironing my hair. Well, I already flat iron it every week anyway, but I'm going to be cranking up the heat a little bit to make sure I can get that new growth, and to make sure that I can still I only need to go through it with one pass of the flat iron. And also, as your hair gets thicker, if you are continuing in your stretch, you may, and if you notice in your hair that's just getting super thick at the root, what you may want to do is just start taking thinner sections so that you can make sure that it gets straight for you. If you're taking, you know, the same size section that you were taking, you may find yourself feeling the need to go over that hair with more than one pass of your flat iron. So instead of doing that, just take smaller sections. Yes, I know that it may possibly take you a little longer, but that's okay. You know, you want to do it right the first time. Because I guarantee you, if you try to rush through your hair, what's going to happen is you're going to get done, and as soon as you step outside, it's going to look like the only thing you did was blow it dry. So go ahead and take the time to do it. That way you won't have to do anything else to it but wrap it for the rest of the week. And then when you flat iron, make sure, because the new growth is really what you want to focus on. The part at the ends, the relaxed part, you can just glide right through that with no problems. But that relaxed part, that unrelaxed part, the new growth, you want to make sure you get that. So try to get as close to your scalp as possible. You want to pull it out, okay? Alright, so that way, even though I'm 16 weeks, when I do that, it makes that new growth straight. And of course, I use the Silk Hydration products again this week. I'm going to be using the moisturizing shampoo from here on out. Simply because I need my hair to be as soft as possible so that it allows me to continue this stretch. That's what helps me to continue the stretch, ladies, is that the products that I'm using are softening up my hair to a point where it makes it very easy to straighten it. So my product line is called Silk Hydration by Elle Jones. And first I used the Extreme Clean shampoo. And then the Extreme Clean shampoo is basically a deep cleansing shampoo, and it took all of the dirt, all of the oil, and all of the residue off of my hair, basically giving me a clean slate, a fresh start. Alright, then I followed that up with the Extreme Moisture. The Extreme Moisture shampoo is going to add a lot of moisturizers back into your hair. So it has liquid silk and powdered silk in there. And it's going to immediately give your hair a more luxurious feel. Okay, after that, I use the replenishing conditioner. Let that sit about 3 to 5 minutes. If you have more time, you can let it sit up to 15 minutes. If you just want to let it sit even longer than that, you can. But I mean, if you let it sit for 3 hours, you're still going to get the same benefits that you would get if you let it sit for 15 minutes. Like, it's not going to be, you know, keep doing, you know, getting it softer and softer. It's going to be extremely soft even after 5 minutes. But I let that sit for about 5 minutes, and then I rinsed that out, towel dried my hair, then I sprayed a generous amount of the leave-in on. And the leave-in conditioner, it acts as a detangler, it moisturizes, and it acts as a heat protectant. So it's like you can never get enough of the leave-in. I absolutely love the leave-in. So I did that, and once I put in the leave-in conditioner, after that I detangled my hair, blow dried it, and this is where we are at this point. If you have extremely dry hair, I mean like extremely dry hair, you can, after you put in your leave-in conditioner, you can also put in about a nickel to quarter size amount, depending on how much hair you have, a nickel to quarter size amount of my Silky Serum Oil in your hair while it's still kind of damp. Then blow dry it in, and that will help your hair to get that extra shine that you want. I find that my hair pretty much does the job, gets the job done with just using the Extreme Moisture shampoo and the replenishing conditioner and the leave-in. However, as it gets colder, I will probably indulge in a little bit of the Silky Serum Oil. The Silky Serum Oil can also be used on kids. I do not recommend using grease. But if you need something that's going to give it a shine, then I would suggest the Silky Serum Oil because it's light. It's not going to just sit on top of your hair. Grease basically coats your hair. It coats it. So basically it's like a protective barrier. It does not allow anything in, and it does not allow anything out, including moisture. So that's why a lot of times you may find that you're using a lot of grease, but your hair is seeming to be even drier than it was before you started using the grease. That's because basically when you're putting grease on your hair, you're locking out you're locking that hair down to where it cannot receive any moisture, and no moisture can come out. So if your hair is already dry, then and you put grease on it, you're not allowing any moisture to come in. The grease is not a moisturizer. And then some people say, yeah, I put the grease on my hair and it just eats it up. Okay, your hair is not, it's not penetrating. The grease is not penetrating your hair because it's so thick of a substance. So you want a lighter moisturizer that's actually penetrating your hair, okay? And allowing moisture to come through. You don't want to put something on your hair that's blocking its ability to get moisture. Also, grease is so heavy, it just weighs the hair down. It basically makes your hair look like it's just slicked to your head. And most of the women I know like for their hair to move and have a lot of body. When you're using grease, you cannot do that. Like, see how effortlessly I can just barely move my head and my hair is moving? You know, just with barely shaking it. You will not get that effect with grease. Alright, so ditch the grease, and purchase the Silky Serum Oil. And one reason that I love wearing my hair straight is because it does not take me hardly any time at all to flat iron my hair. And that's even at 16 weeks. And a lot of people will say, oh, you got that good hair. You got that, girl, I got that African hair. My hair's not like yours. It's not going to look all cute like that at 16 weeks. It can. If you use the right products, trust me, it can. I am black and black. Okay? Everybody in my family is black. Grandparents, great-grandparents, all of that. There's nothing mixed in with this. It's just straight black. So I have straight black hair. Trust me, if I was not using these products and softening my hair up to this point, it would be crunchy too. But I will say I got good hair because it's healthy. Good hair is healthy hair. So all of you ladies have the opportunity to have good hair. If you taking care of your hair, you're using the right products for it, and it's healthy, it's good. Alright, so I'm already to the last panel. And I can tell that it's growing a bit because I'm having to pull further and further back with that flat iron. Which is a good thing. So that's why I tell a lot, especially my clients, don't be afraid of new growth. You want to see new growth. If you want your hair to grow, you want to see new growth because that means your hair is growing. If your hair is straight all the time, you know, you never notice any puffiness, you don't have any new growth, that means your hair is not growing. Okay? You want to see new growth. You just need to know how to manage it, and once you learn how to manage it, it'll be much easier for you to stretch it out. And that's how I got to, you know, only getting them twice a year. I didn't start out this way. I used to get them every 6 weeks, just like everybody else. You know, but over time I started noticing that at 6 weeks, number one, my hair was still straight. So I would wait. I'll say, okay, I'm gonna wait a couple of more weeks. 8 weeks get here and I'm like, okay, it's still straight. 10 weeks get here, it's still straight. 12 weeks, okay, I can go ahead and get it at 12 weeks. But then I started stretching it even more. Once I got used to getting it every 12 weeks, then I went to 14. Once I got used to 14, I went to 16. And then eventually I said, look, I'm just going to do it every 6 months. And here we are. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll say once a year. I don't know about that, but you know, who knows? Never say never. I would have never thought that I could go 6 months. But if you find you a hairstylist that will is all about healthy hair and taking care of your hair. And it's not just a hairstylist that's going to say, oh, girl, you need a perm. You need a perm, 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 perm. You find you a hairstylist that can help you to stretch. And what I tell my clients is don't try to do it by yourself. Of course, when you get your fresh relaxer, you can manage it on your own just fine. But when you notice that it's getting hard for you, that's when I come in. That's when you start making your appointments more regularly. And you let me handle it, and all you have to do is just maintain it at home. Especially my clients that are like really budget conscious and they don't necessarily want to come to the salon every 2 weeks. I tell them, let me do your chemicals, let me do your cutting. You can handle your shampoos at home. But once it gets close to time for you to get your relaxer and you cannot handle that new growth, then that's when you start coming. And then once it's time for your relaxer, you can then handle it from that point. But do not try to do your own chemicals, and do not try to cut your own hair. Okay, YouTube will have y'all messed up. That's why I do not show you how to do things that I know you should not be doing. Like, I don't show you how to trim your hair. I don't show you how to color. I don't show you how to do none of that. But I will show you how to take care of it, how to maintain it, because that's something you can do perfectly on your own with the the right guidance and advice. But like a lot of the things that us professional hairstylists know, we learned. It took years for us to learn it. So you can't just like see somebody do it on YouTube that's taking years to learn this stuff, and then you think you can go ahead and do it. Then you mess up your hair and you run to your hairstylist like, fix it. And at that point, it's gonna cost you even more money because we're fixing something that you did. So the moral of that story is find you a good hairstylist that's healthy hair conscious. Like all of my clients that are thinking about going natural, like I never tell anybody, oh girl, you need to go natural. Oh girl, you need to perm. I never say that. I will support whatever decision you make. I allow the client to make that decision. And I'll support whatever decision you make, because my goal is for you to have healthy hair. And I can get your hair healthy whether you have a relaxer, and I can get your hair healthy whether you are natural. So it doesn't matter to me which one you choose. But if you say I want to transition, then I'm gonna help you out with that. If you say I want a relaxer, then as long as you follow my advice, you will have healthy relaxed hair. But if you get a relaxer and at 6 weeks you just can't take it no more, and you go ahead and start doing what you've been doing, then you cannot get mad when you don't notice any changes in your hair. Alright, so all that talking, and I'm basically finished. Alright, so it's straight but with a little bump to it. No deep side part today, but I do have a little height. My layers are pretty much growing. They're growing out. They haven't grown out, but they're growing out. They just look like long layers at this point, but that's okay. I may or may not cut them shorter. It just depends on how I'm feeling. Alright, you guys, so this is week 16 of the How to Stretch Your Relaxer series. For those relaxer warriors that are going to push forward on this journey with me, we're going to continue. Week 17 next week, okay? We only have 9 more weeks to go. That's not, out of 24, like we're like in the home stretch at this point. So I will see you all next week. If you are getting your relaxer this week, congratulations to you. Let me know your results and how this stretch has helped you. How have you noticed any differences in your hair, any changes for the better? Let me know. comment on this video and let me know your results of stretching. For those of you all that are going to continue, let's go. It's next week is 17 and we'll only have 8 more weeks to go next week. I mean, we're almost there. So I will see you all next week for week 17 of the How to Stretch Your Relaxer series. This is Toya, and thank you for watching Toya J TV. Do not forget to subscribe. Talk to you all later. Bye-bye.